Big takeaway.
All right. How we doing? I'm good. Obviously excited, big game this week. A lot of fun to play in this game, great rivalry game. You know, Florida, Georgia's kind of a fun game to be a part of. Great playing it in Jacksonville, which is just a really unique scene for college football. And a lot of fun. Obviously, great challenge. Georgia's one of the best teams in the country. Got a offense that can put up a lot of points. They got I think the top defense in the league, and so very, very talented team at every position, front to back to front, and be a big challenge for our guys. Had a good bye week. Had an opportunity to get guys healthy. We'll see where we're at of practice today. Kadarius practiced a little bit last week to get him back. The other guys, we kind of rested a lot of guys last week, but he was a guy to practice because he hasn't practiced in a while. We'll see how everybody does at practice today, but we expect to have the guys that have been banged up. Talking to the training staff, we expect to have them back for Saturday, which would be a big help. And I don't know. What do you guys got?
Dan, you guys have been out of the top 10 for 1 week all year, but you've been underdogs now for the third time in 9 games. Do you guys use that as fuel at all, or is it just what's happening in Vegas?
Yeah, that's more a Vegas deal. Like I said, if we ever walked in, it would be a much bigger deal if we walked in and they spotted you the points one way or the other. It would be a much bigger deal at that point. Like, I don't know. If we walked in the stadium, is that what it is? And it said Florida 4.5, Georgia nothing to start the game, then I'd have to pay more attention to it. Might change strategies a little bit, but since it doesn't, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to.
But it's just unusual for a team to be.
Yeah. Well, we play a pretty tough schedule. I guess maybe a tribute to our guys. What they've been able to do and win and compete and put ourselves in position to be successful.
Robbie, pass the microphone.
What are your thoughts on the game staying in Jacksonville for the foreseeable future? And, that was always kind of a given. Do you see that may be a negotiation every several years now?
Well, it's been there since 1933, except for twice. That's a long time. A lot of history involved in that, and I'm not always saying just because that's the best thing to do. Just because I'm never somebody that's always going to say, "Oh, that's just how we've always done it." So you don't think about it. But I do. I think it's a really unique scene for college football. There's not many games like this in the country, and so I think that part of it is pretty special. And I think it's pretty good. I think it'll be something, that all the schools will continue to look. The landscape of college football is constantly changing, and so I think right now over the next couple of years it's beneficial for that, and then we'll see as it continues to move forward if that remains the case.
Are rivalry games? It's probably kind of seems obvious, but rivalry games, top 10 matchups, is that the measuring stick ultimately for a program?
No, I don't know about
on
that.
the field at least.
Huh?
On the field at least.
Well, you gotta win. Winning championships, I think, is your measuring stick of, in one way, I guess, on the field. But to me, really, I don't know. I measure us on are we improving? Are we a better team at the end of the year than we were at the beginning of the year? Is the program heading in the right direction? Are we continually to improve? That's the measuring stick I use. I never try to measure anything off one individual game, because you can all of a sudden, you win one game and you think you've arrived, and you lose another one and it's a disaster, and neither of those two are true. You're as good as your last play, and what's the next week going to bring to you?
Mark, how did Tony look, and what do you expect Grenard and Zuniga to be complete go this week?
As for the trainer saying, we'll see. I got to see. We haven't practiced yet. So, we'll see. We're not going to rush them back. We're going to get them ready for Saturday. But we expect both those guys to be ready to go Saturday. Tony looked pretty good running around. No contact, obviously, but we just had him running around, looked pretty good.
Do you embrace that this could be a playoff game, quarterfinal game, whatever you want to look at? SEC East title game?
Well, I think at this point of the season, it's for first place in the SEC East, which I think, all you can really control is winning the East. If you do that, you get an opportunity to go to Atlanta and play one game there. And beyond that, everybody's voting for you, and so, I think that's important. You get into the middle of, you're going to be in November and be in first place in the East is a great position to be in because that's what you can control. I don't view it really as a playoff game because whoever wins isn't locked for the playoffs. So we got a lot more football ahead of us before any of that stuff.
How big would it be getting Grenard and Zuniga back, especially when you look how well they run the football?
Well, obviously huge. You look at teams, right? To have a successful season, you're going to look at injuries, and I think we've done an unbelievable job. Our coaching staff this year and our players of next guy standing up because we've very few teams I don't think in the country could have dealt with the injuries we've had and be in the position that we're still in. And so that's a tribute to our guys, next guys standing up, and our coaches getting guys ready to go play. So, obviously, when you look, you go take star players. You start taking star players away from teams and in big games and see what happens. And a lot of them don't win.
Nick?
As a coach, when you have a guy like Kadarius that's been out for so long, and you've had other guys fill that role, how do you fit him back into the game plan while taking some guys out, and how do you find a balance for that?
Well, I think the nice thing we do offensively, we spread the ball around a lot to the guys. So, I don't know that it's, taking guys out. He just gets to come back in the rotation. He'll get hopefully some touches, and but we always kind of just take what the defense gives us. And if he gets the ball in his hand, we know he can do some good things. And, if he doesn't, other guys do some good things too. So, we've offensively, we kind of let the defense dictate who touches the ball. We're just going to take what they give us.
And being in Georgia week, was Brenton Cox's his eligibility waiver denied?
We're working with the NCAA on that with some more information.
After watching a couple games of tape on Georgia the last couple weeks, where do you see offensively where you could have some success against them?
Well, the one thing always you want to try to do is be balanced. That's anytime you're not, you're going to struggle. So you got to kind of constantly be balanced. You got to be able to run, throw, and attack them across the field and try to create advantageous matchups. That's what we always do.
Seeing in those last two games, they haven't played their best against South Carolina and Kentucky. When you watch that, what stood out to you about their tape?
The rain in Kentucky side, that's kind of you throw that one out. In South Carolina, I thought South Carolina, a good plan, played really hard, made plays when they needed to make plays, and got a couple breaks within the course of the game and found a way to win at the end.
Matt, over here to the right.
Dan, you mentioned the importance of staying balanced. Obviously, you guys have passed the ball pretty well all season. Running game maybe not quite as well. What strides have you seen from the run game here in the last month?
Well, I think that the ability that of staying balanced. That we've done that. And you look maybe not total yards, but within play calls, we try to stay pretty balanced. And because of that, you look at some of the explosive plays. Our most explosive plays on the season have been in the run game. And that's kind of a tribute to staying balanced. So, we'll take it. If we hit some explosive runs, we'll take it. If they're going to, obviously I love consistency, but if the type of team we are, if we're going to be more not as consistent but hit the big explosives, then we'll, put our guys in position to do that.
We ask you about Kyle Pitts every week, but I don't think we've asked you this question. What's the most impressive thing you've ever seen him do?
Boy, I don't know. It's pretty good that he's learned the offense. We ask those guys. That's impressive to me because we ask the tight ends to do a bunch. When you look within our system, as a tight end, you got to be able to block. You got to be able to catch. You'll play receiver. You'll play H-back. You'll play on the ball tight end. If you won't watch, the only time really offenses that use the tight ends that way, you're gonna watch the Patriots from a couple years ago with Gronkowski. That style offense, and so to be a tight end in our system, you got to be that special of a player. And when you learn the system like that, which is not easy to be able to do all those different things, I think that's pretty impressive.
Friends over the left and back.
When you worked for Urban always kind of treated rivalry games a little bit differently. I know you're not going to give away secrets, but do you treat them differently? Is there something that you do to get your teams ready on a rivalry game?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have to. You know, I mean, it's a big game. I mean, if our guys aren't used to playing the game, they got problems. I mean, this is what right. I mean, you want to come to Florida to play in the big games, to play in rivalry games like this, and you know, I've never thought that you really have to. I mean, if I have to go motivate our team, it ain't much of a rivalry game then.
Also, Dan, you've outscored opponents 85-21 in the fourth quarter of games. What does that say about what Nick Savage does with your guys to have them able to make big plays in the fourth quarter like that?
Well, I think they do a great job. Our strength and conditioning staff, you know, especially throughout the offseason, not just, you know, making sure guys are in shape, but also developing that mental toughness for when it gets, you know, I mean, it's easy to do it when everybody can do it when it's easy, you know, but when it gets hard, when you're facing adversity, when you're tired, you know, do you have the mental toughness to go push yourself to another level? And I think he does a great job, and our staff does of preparing guys for that, not just physically but mentally.
How much self-scouting, self-evaluation do you do during a bye week, and what are you looking for from a trend standpoint or to try to figure out or change?
I think a lot during the bye week. You're looking at a lot of little things, you know. I mean, it gives you the opportunity to catch up some. You do a little bit of self-scout where you're doing well, what you're doing poorly. You're looking, you know, what our tendencies are. You know, just because you have a tendency doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but, you know, how do you defend it or set up things off of your tendency? Making sure we're just putting guys in position to be successful, and, you know, and also you get time for development, which we were able to do, getting some young guys some extra reps, and, you know, because, you know, as we've seen this year with what we've had to deal with, you know, a lot of these, right, we're not done. There might be a lot of young guys still have to step up to go play as the year goes on.
And then when you go back and look at it, how do you feel like you've handled getting Emory Jones involved? He didn't play a lot against South Carolina.
Pretty good, you know, I mean, and he, I think he's done a really good job of having himself ready to go and preparing himself within the game plan, you know, and I think he's done a really good job of that, of making sure he's ready and continued his development.
When you look at Georgia, how much of their offense goes around DeAndre Swift, and what is the key to stopping him?
Well, you know, I mean, one, you got to get a bunch of guys to the ball because he's got, you know, he's one of the best backs, if not the top back in college football right now, of, you know, breakaway speed, power, can make you miss in the open field. So to sit there and say, hey, we're one-on-one and our guy's just going to tackle him, you got to get a couple guys to the party there to go tackle him. Does a great job that way. So, you know, and us, I mean, you got to fit your gaps. You got to be sound. I mean, if you give him an opening, he's got the speed to go take it to the house. If you leave him one-on-one, he's got the ability to make you miss. So you got to do a great job of getting guys running the football.
How many, you mentioned, I think on your radio show, 10 tackles, 87 yards after contact at LSU. What was it at South Carolina? And what's the premium on it this week?
That was a long time ago.
Well, maybe you knew. I mean, this week,
I mean, it was, it wasn't
Swift.
great. I think we had a couple more missed tackles against South Carolina than we did against LSU, if I recall. Well, it's a premium on it every week, you know. I mean, we got to, you know, the yards after contact is always huge, and you want to compare both sides of the ball. Obviously, we'd like to get a bunch of yards after contact and make explosive plays and limit their ability to be as little as possible.
Did, you know, the disparity, I guess, we were talking about balance in yards between one or the other is the second largest of your career right now. What is the challenge there? I mean, the last time it was 2015 when you had Dak throwing it all over the place.
Well, I mean, a very similar deal. We had a bunch of veteran receivers, a veteran quarterback that was a good decision maker. We had a really young inexperienced offensive line, and some young running backs. And I'm just always somebody, I'm going to do what our guys can do, you know, as a coach. I think the worst thing you do as a coach, say, hey, we have a system, and we're only going to run our system. Even if we stink, we're going to run our system, you know, and that's our system. You know, to me as a coach, our job is to put our guys in position to be successful. And if that means run the wishbone, I'll go run the wishbone. If it means we're going to throw it every single play, we'll throw it every single play. And I think that the mark in coaching, I tell our guys always is, you know, to make sure we always have enough flexibility within our scheme to be able to highlight the strengths of our players in whatever it is that we do. And we've always done that.
we know that you like the term game manager for quarterback. That's something that I think people throw at Jake Fromm a lot. What's your assessment of him as a quarterback and how he functions in
He
their
does a
offense?
great job managing games. If you watch him, I mean, he gets them into the right plays. He makes good decisions. He has the ability to, not force a ball and maneuver and keep alive in the pocket to extend plays. He also has the ability to kind of, you see him take off and run, and he can extend plays with his feet or make plays with his feet. Doesn't force the ball down the field and makes good decisions, and he's pretty accurate, and he's an accurate passer, which, that's what you want. He does a really good job to me of managing their offense and getting them in position to make plays.
What was it like for you at first-time head coach in that game last year, just to kind of take it all in and soak it in?
Yeah, I thought it was, I've been in the game before, and I know it's a big game, and that scene and that atmosphere was a lot of fun. I thought, I don't think we finished, obviously, that's pretty obvious. I don't think we finished the way we wanted to. I thought we played well for 2.5 quarters, and, and even well enough overcoming all the different things, right? I think we kept fumbling the ball, in the first half, we kept turning the ball over, but had the mental toughness to stay in there, and we just didn't have enough to finish it in the end.
Kyle's obviously played in a lot of big games, but this is his first time playing the Florida-Georgia game. Can you just talk about the confidence level you have in him being able to execute the game plan?
I've been pretty good. He's played, like you said, I don't know, this is our third top 10 matchup that we've had this year. He's already played in the other two. One at home, one on the road, and this is in the middle. So I guess it is different that way for him. But, he's played in some tough road atmospheres. He's played in some big games already. And so, I feel pretty confident. He knows what we're doing. I feel pretty confident in him executing the plan.
He seemed to indicate that you give him one or two things every week to try to work on, improve on. Is that really what you're doing?
Yeah, you're always looking, and I talked to in him. Everybody, you're always trying to where are you at? Everybody's a little different part of their development, And so here's Kyle. Here's where you're at. Here's some things, You don't want to do. Hey, here's the 15 things you got to do because he won't get any of it done. Here's one or two. Let's work at being better here. Work at being better there. Whether it is, where your left foot is, whether it is where your eyes are before the snap, whether, just little things like that. And all of a sudden, if you do that, they kind of get those fixed. And once those are fixed, you just you're constantly building, teaching, and coaching to get guys better.
Is it that detailed?
Yeah.
Like where your eyes are at pre-snap? Or?
Yeah. Some of it, now some guys are, hey, make sure, catch the ball, spread your hands out to catch a football. You know what I mean? Everybody, in a bye week, you really get to show it because, you get some time to coach a little bit more than just, all the game planning that goes in, especially with some younger guys. When we talk about it, everybody's at a different stage of their development. So it's not like I stand in front of the team and say, here's the one thing we're going to work on. Everybody is doing it. When you walk out of practice, what is your thing that you're going to walk off the field today saying, I've improved in this one area? And some guys, it's more generic big things, and other guys, it's very specific small things.
Can you share what it is for Trask this week without giving away any state secrets?
No, I won't get into all that, but I could, it's always something little.
So he's a work in progress right now, right? Still a work in progress. Do you ever have a finished product in college football?
No, I don't know anybody that's a finished product. Tom Brady's probably not a finished product. If I was coaching Tom, I'd probably be doing the same thing with Tom right now, to be honest with you. And I bet Tom, I don't know. I've never got to hang out with him, but I bet if you ask him that, he would agree with that statement. And so I think that is that's just part of coaching and development. You're always that way.
Pass back to Franz, guys.
Do you, as a head coach, you come into certain games, do you save certain plays? You're planning in the off season and you're saying, okay, this is going to work against these guys, et cetera, that you hold back during the
Well,
for other
I don't
games?
know that you save plays. You're looking at stuff and maybe you look and say, we haven't used this yet. Or we've set certain things up to this point. So it's more that way than saving them. You know, I mean, say we've practiced this play and a couple times, and you know what? We've never gotten to that call within a game, but it fits in this game plan more than I don't know if we've ever saved things.
And also, during an off week like this and you're watching games or even after Florida games in your home and you're on the TV, do you ever see stuff there and you say, you know, that would work with us, and you kind of jot it down and
Always.
implement it later on?
Always. And everything. I mean, I'm probably not fun to watch games with because I'm analyzing a lot of it. I see a lot of different things. I flip a lot too, you know. But I mean, mathematically, you're going, you know, you're looking at every game situation, watching a game, saying, here's the situation, here's what you need to do. Offensively, what's your strategy? Are you punting? Are you going for it? You need this many first downs. Where's the clock? How are you doing? How do you want to manage it? Is it worth taking a shot? Hey, what do you better have the onside team or the hands team ready in this situation. Punt, don't punt. I mean, everything. I watch it very differently probably than the normal person. So yeah, it's all of it. That's what I do. I don't know. I mean, on my day off, I like to watch football. So me and Megan and the kids. I mean, I play with the kids a bunch too. We do some fun things like that. But the games are always on.
Are you like sitting on the top of the call sheet? Or like
No. Oh no. I might be in the pool, but still we got TV by the pool. I can watch a game from the pool, playing like with my kids some, and I'll watch it. Then we'll hit the couch and watch some games. Eat dinner, watch some games. You know, we do a lot of fun little things together. But we're always we're checking what's going on to see if it's close or if it's tight. You know, obviously if somebody's up by blowing another team out, it's not really a close game. I'm probably not real involved in thinking what's going on. They got that one pretty much in hand. They'd have to screw it up at this point. So, kind of watch the other ones a little closer.
Thanks, guys.
LSU Auburn?
I watch LSU Auburn, right? I watch a lot of that. I watch the noon game's pretty good early, and then I watch watching Kansas State Oklahoma. Like that was the main one at the end. I kind of I flip a bunch, and then you'll get into one main one. I watch the Miami Pitt some. I got 3 to go. One that's main, and then so I'll keep a game maybe somewhere else, another part of I can go kind of peek across to see if I ever need to flip or it gets exciting. So I watched the Kentucky-Missouri game.
Did you see Oklahoma lose?
How was it? Huh? How was it good? I was when you're doing a lot of math in your head and saying, okay, you're up by this much. What are they going to do? Going for 2, not going for 2, all little things like that.
The Jets went for 2 yesterday, and then somebody was saying it was an analytics decision. They went for 2 early in the fourth quarter, down.
They scored.